Okay, good day. Welcome back. Today's an exciting day. I got the trailer hooked up and we're headed to pick up a new Moline. A couple things that have happened over the winter. First of all, I got myself a new to me truck. So it's a 2019 Dodge Ram 1500. It really wasn't on the docket to do, but I had it kind of fall into my lap. So we're gonna see how she does today towing. I haven't put a trailer behind it yet. It's got the 5.7 Hemi in it. The nice thing about it is it's got all the bells and whistles, which is something I've never had before. So give you a quick look inside. It's got the big 12-inch screen and the leather seats and all the amenities, and the back seat is nice and big. Towing capacity wise, it's not going to be able to do what my 3/4 ton or 1 ton can do, so only one tractor at a time, but that's okay. For everything else that I do with it, it's going to be perfect. So that's the update on that. And then talking about the tractor that we're going to go pick up today. So it's a Minneapolis Moline 445. Again, this was another, I wasn't really looking for it. It came to me. We have some friends that unfortunately lost their son. He was 24 and he had a seizure, and he passed away from it. And his favorite thing in the world was tractors. They have decided to part with this Moline. I'm not really sure where their heads are at with it. They offered it to me first because they know that I'm gonna do something with it or take care of it. The reality is I'm probably gonna leave it as is for a while. I want them to get some space, and if they feel like maybe they didn't want to part with it and wanted it back, I'm going to be willing to do that. So I'm going to hang on to it. I'm not going to change much to it. I'm going to use it. It's got a front end loader and it's got a back blade on it. So I am going to probably put it to work, but outside of that, I'm not going to do anything with it for a while, because if they want it back, I want them to have it back. And just out of respect to them, I'm not going to do any filming at their place. So I'm going to leave here. We're going to get it loaded up. We'll bring it home, and then I'll give you a walk around of it. So I am all loaded up and ready to go do that. I will see you when I get back. Okay, there it is. Got her home. It's only about a 20-mile drive, but I found out really fast that I am not a huge fan of the coilover springs that are in the back of this thing. I've never had a truck that didn't have leaf springs, so this is the first time that I've dealt with the rear coilovers, and they didn't do well. Now, the overall towing capacity for this truck is about 1,200 or 12,000 pounds, and I'm guessing I'm pushing that because my trailer's 8. The tractor without the loader is 42, so I knew I was going to be pushing it, but then to have the loader and the back drag, that pretty much put it over. It does have airbags, but the airbags have a hole in it or something, so I've got to take a look at that. I'm sure that probably would have made a big difference, but I sure can feel every bump in the road with this much weight on. Engine wise, it's the 5.7 Hemi. It's exactly what I anticipated it would be. So transmission, engine, all of that is good. It's just the suspension and the ride. So I have to look into how to upgrade that a little bit. I've still got my 3/4 ton and my 1 ton for doing all the tractor shows and everything, but this one's still going to tow. But yeah, this is what we came home with. It's definitely got some interesting things. The first thing is it's a 1957 utility, but it doesn't have the same front end as my other utilities. And someone modified this when they put the loader on. They shortened it So they cut it off here, you can see, and they shortened it by about, I don't know, 2 inches or better. No, that's more like 6 inches. So they shortened it by 6 inches. I don't know why. And then they did some wonky business here with the steering. And it's got a really bad turning radius, and you can see on both sides it's scraping on this frame. I'm not sure what all of that was about, but it does have power steering. So this is the first Moline that I've got that's got power steering. The loader itself, there's a data tag on the other side. So the loader itself is whatever that is, LOLL Manufacturing Co. or Road Machinery. It's got a 2,500 pound capacity. Looks like model number is 1559. The model is an X4A. So I'm gonna have to look it up and do some research on it. It is pretty unique. It's I don't know. It's definitely set up for a different bucket or something, because you can see that these cylinders don't even go all the way in when it's extended for the bucket. So it's not right, whatever it is. The cylinders drop way down. And from what I was told, this thing will reach pretty high. It was set up to be able to dump in the back of a dump truck. So when we get her off the trailer and running, we'll extend it up and see what that looks like. I was told that there's a lot of leaks in it, so it'll probably be a little bit of hose work to do, see if we can get it somewhat sealed back up. I did see that the lift cylinder on the other side had a pretty good leak. You can see on the other side of the trailer where it's pooling already. Brake wise, when I loaded it on here, the brakes were there but not there. When I rolled back down the ramp, there's not enough there to slow you down and stop you, but when you get to the very end, it did finally stop. So it's going to need some brake work. The brake lock is broken. Torque converter, I haven't tried it, but he said it doesn't work. Not sure what all that will look like. It might just be the adjustment. I might just have to go in and adjust it, or it could need a replacement. I don't know. So the next order of business, we get to look at this back here. So there's no 3-point and no hydraulic unit. It has the hydraulic pump, and the hydraulic pump is running the power steering, but then it has a second hydraulic pump, and the second hydraulic pump is running the loader and then this cylinder for the back blade. So this is totally back on the farm. Actually, not even back on the farm. From what I understand, this was owned by the county at one point. I don't know what county, but they're the ones that did all the modifications. And one of the things that I noticed on this pump, it is a Greason, which was a Minneapolis hydraulic company that my dad actually used to work for. He actually has a couple of patents from Greason, so that was kind of a neat little discovery. But we are going to put the back blade to work. It's an interesting blade. It looks like it had some articulation for as far as how you wanted it to cut, but that's long gone. I'm hoping that it at least still turns so I can get a swing one way or the other, but that's yet to be seen. It does have downward pressure, which is interesting. So I'm hoping that I can use it a little bit to fix up this driveway. And from there, I guess we'll see. But it's got all the skins. Most of them are in good shape. The hood itself is in really good shape. In fact, there's one thing up there that I want to point out. It's on the other side. But where the exhaust would come up through the top of the hood, this one is routed down like on my 335, and they actually have the filler piece to plug that hole, which you don't see very often. So that's pretty neat. I don't know gauge wise. I don't think anything works on the gauge cluster, but it is the full gauge cluster. The cross, of course, is all busted out, as most of them are. The lights were pulled into the inside, which I've seen done before. So yeah, when we get it down off the trailer, I'll do another walk around so that you can see everything from the top. We'll get it running so that you can see that, and that'll pretty much be it for this one. But I am excited to have a working tractor, not just a pavement princess. This one's gonna actually do something. I was kind of hoping that it was gonna have a 3-point. I didn't know for sure. I knew it had a blade, but I didn't quite expect what was on the back of this. But we'll see. All right, we're gonna get it on strap and get it off the trailer. Also along with it, he had another hydraulic pump. This one obviously had some repair at one point. I'm guessing it's probably no good, but he sent it with anyway, which is fine. Just another spare part to have on the shelf. And he sent the manual that came with it when he bought it. It's a remanufactured manual. Obviously this is a restored 445 on the front cover, but we'll put it with all the other manuals. Okay, so far super impressed with the blade. It's digging in and pulling the dirt back up off the edge really nice. Smokes a little bit. Okay, maybe more than a little bit. Good day. It is the next day. I spent a majority of last night just researching kind of what I had here. And this is what I've been able to come up with so far. So, start with this front end. So this is for sure a utility model, built in 1957. I was able to verify that. And then I went through some of my part books, and I found the front end that we're looking at. And a little bit bright out, but I think you can see it. So there's all the components that we'd be dealing with. This is still there. This is what was cut apart and then moved back and welded back on. And then it looks like, kind of what I'm getting from this is they wanted to use the mounting that this piece of framework bolted to. They wanted to use it for this loader. So that's why I think they modified the front end. They wanted these mounting points. So this is missing. This was welded to something that looks similar to the top end of the axle on my utility 445 because it's got the bump stops on it. So this is still present. This is still present. These arms were cut apart because, again, they were too long. So they had to be cut to match this and welded all back together. And so that's kind of what we're sitting with right now. So that's the axle. The loader, I've determined that the bucket does match the loader. There's a data tag on both. I still can't clearly make out the name of the company, nor was I able to find anything like it on Google. So it's still a little bit of a mystery. I only put a couple hours into it, so I've still got a ways to go before I give up on finding it, but I'm sure I will. The hydraulic pump, so we talked about this yesterday. It's a Greason. It's a model 24, and what I found that means is it's got a 24 gallon per minute flow rate. So whoever devised this, they determined that the pump that Minneapolis Moline has on the back of these only has about a 4 to 5 gallon per minute flow rate, and that wasn't going to be enough for what they wanted with this loader. So they went to this indirect drive, and in order to get that 24 gallon per minute flow rate, you have to run it at 1200 RPM. Well, at idle, the PTO on this runs at about 500 RPM, maybe 5400 RPM. So that's where they put this sprocket setup on. So they've got a bigger sprocket on the PTO and a smaller sprocket on the pump, making it turn a half time faster. So if this is turning at 500 RPM, that's turning at 1000 RPM. And that's so that they could power that pump. Now, this thing is super unsafe, and I really don't like it. I had it fall off once yesterday while I was operating it. There's no set screw on this. It just slides right off and slides right back on. So that's one of the first things I'm going to do, is I'm going to come up with some kind of a shield and cover, because I've worked in manufacturing long enough with conveyors and chains and sprockets to know that they can really do some harm if they get a hold of you. And this is just an optimal spot to want to step up onto the back of the tractor, and the last thing I need is for that to catch a piece of clothing. So I'm probably gonna tighten that chain a little bit. Whoever came up with the mounting for this, they did a good job. They put an adjuster on it so that you could take slack in and out of the chain. So that's right there. So we'll adjust the chain tension, and then I'm gonna build some kind of a shield for it and get that put on. And then that's how it's gonna run for now. I do have somewhere, I have to find it, I have a direct drive PTO pump, but I have no idea what the flow rate on it is. And if I could get away with changing that to a direct drive, I definitely would do it, because it'd be a lot safer. But we'll just have to see. So that's that. As we talked about yesterday, brakes, that's a pretty simple fix. I've already got all the pads that I need. I just have to get some more of the roller balls that that sit inside that articulating disc, and then the springs that hold the discs together. So I'll order some of those up. That's relatively cheap, and then I can do the whole brake setup in a day and get some decent brakes on it. The exhaust, this thing smokes like crazy. So this engine is really worn. The rings on those pistons must be just about ready to give. So all in all, I think where I'm sitting with it right now is I'm going to use it in the state that it is, aside from we're going to extend that exhaust out the back so they don't have to breathe that smoke. We're going to put some guarding on that chain, maybe try to fix some of these leaks so that I'm not spending a fortune in hydraulic fluid every time that I need to operate it. However, some of this, like the races in here, I'm sure are shot. That's like an A1 hydraulic thing, and I probably have to take the whole cylinder out, and so it's just a matter of how deep I want to get on this. I did get the grease gun out today and just go around and hit some of the zerks, see if I could get some of the whine and grind out of it when I'm operating the bucket. And then that's pretty much going to be the extent of it until I can get the Ford backhoe in operation again. Once I get the backhoe in operation again, then I'll have a loader, and I'll have to figure out if I can mount this on the back of the backhoe and then run it off of the backhoe's hydraulic system. If I can do that, and then I have an operational blade and an operational bucket, then we can start to think about taking this thing apart. The only thing that's going to make me do it before that is if either the engine actually fails or the clutch actually fails, and I'm not sure which one's going to happen first. Right now I've got my money on the clutch. That throwout bearing, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot left there, so we'll have to see. Anti-torque doesn't work, so all of that stuff is going to get left for a time where this actually gets torn all the way down. And if I tear it all the way down, it's going to be more of a restoration than it's going to be put it back together to work again. More than likely, if I have to take this loader off, it's probably not going back on. The way that they mounted this, like I said, they stole those, I don't know if you can see really well, but that's where that front end would have bolted up, and so that's part of what they used for supporting the front of this frame for the loader. They've got all these other points back here, but unfortunately, in order to get this loader off, I've got to cut this whole front bracket off. And so if I were to put it back on again, I'd have to weld that front bracket back on, and I just don't know if this loader's worth it. I don't know, maybe as I use it, If it grows on me, it might be something I look at doing. But even if I did, I would probably try to style it more in a Moline style. Put some kind of some type of a grill guard on the front of it. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of things spinning through my head right now, but short term, she's just going to do the work. I am going to look at my skid steer and see if I can take the quick connect and somehow rig it up to work on here so that I can use some of my Bobcat attachments on it. So that might be another thing too. And I know in the other video yesterday I talked about the hood. So the hood itself is not in good shape. I misspoke. The side panels are in good shape. The hood is not. The hood was cut and then rehinged, and I don't know if that was like before they put this bracing in, so that they thought they could use it, and then they put this bracing in and now they can't. But yeah, that's junk. This, however, was the part that I really liked. It's got the plug where the exhaust would have come through the top, and that's something you don't see very often. You don't actually see these plugs. I had to take an actual panel and cut it out for the 335. I've got a video on that. I'll put the link up in the corner here. But you don't see these, so that's really nice to have. So today's project is we're gonna go take it up to the shed. I've got some exhaust piping left over from when I did the exhaust on the 335. We're gonna see if we can get this thing piped out the back, and then when Will gets back from school today, we're gonna actually see what this bucket is capable of lifting. I've got a couple of bigger generators and things that I need to get out of the way, and so we'll throw a couple chains on and see what we can do with it, and then that should pretty much wrap this video. But if anybody's got any information on this style of loader, what it might have originally been on, I don't think it was designed for a Moline. This is something that was adapted after the fact. But yeah, throw it in the comments and let me know. I'd like to find out more about it. It's a heavy duty loader for sure. I don't think these handles are long enough for operating the valves. I mean, those are some beefy handles. But all right, we're gonna get to work. All right, last few starts I've had to choke it. I'm on a rotted out motorcycle with these handles. It's a lot of smoke. All right, so I was able to find a sweeping 90, and then I have enough length of pipe that I'm able to run it straight back, straight out, and then I'll probably chop that end down by maybe a foot or so, but that at least gets the smoke back here. And then I'm just going to wire it up for now. It'd be nothing pretty. Just going to clamp it all together and call her good. Got her hung on. Let's see how she works. Okay, so as I go further on this, I will keep you up to date. Probably start a new playlist for it. The one more thing I wanted to go through before we wrap this one, and that is last week I went to the Le Sueur scrap meet, and I got a couple of things. First of all, I got this under the hood toolbox for a 445 or 335. It's got the tabs that lay across the cross arms for the hood. The bottom on this is really good. So I'm going to clean this up, paint it, and it's going to go in one of the two. I'm not sure which one yet. But yeah, just as a showpiece. Probably going to go in the 335 just because that engine's cleaner. When I'm at shows, I can have that hood open and have that in there. I also got a belt pulley so that in the future here, hopefully this summer, we can hook up to one of the implements with a pulley wheel that I've got and just have a little bit of fun running that stuff. Final thing that I got is this cylinder. So this is the A79 cylinder. The A80 is the bigger one. That's the one that we put on the cultivator. This one is going to be for lifting the sickle bar arm. So the next video, I'm going to get the 445 out of the shed and get it all ready for running around this summer. I'm going to put a little bit of leak stop in the 3-point to see if I can get that hydraulic leak to seal up. And then I'm going to get lines put on this so that we can get it on there and actually try it. My goal, because I've got auxiliary hookups on the 445, so my goal is that the 445 would pull this at Elmelund. Obviously there's a lot of work to do on it, but mostly cosmetic. other than replacing some of the U-joints. I already got the tires, they're brand new, so it's just taking it apart, cleaning it up, and then putting it back together. We do have one major thing that needs to be fixed, and I'm not quite sure what I want to do or how I want to go about it, but this is an emergency swing away. So if you would hit something, this clip would give and it would swing the whole bar back, and either it wasn't working right or somebody didn't like it, but they welded it together, so that breakaway no longer works. But that's a video for a different day. As for today, I hope you enjoyed this one. I'm super stoked about having a work tractor around here, and I hope to see you back on the next one. So take your foot off the clutch. Thanks, everybody.